Yo, welcome back to the show. My name's Liam. Today I'm going to talk about what relationships might have been like before phones, okay? Before, I'm thinking kind of 1900s time frame is what I was imagining. But when I woke up this morning, I wanted to check my phone. As us phone users of 2024 would do. I wanted to get on my phone immediately and just check it. I wanted to see what was going on. And that got me thinking, because I have a good habit of not checking my phone for the first at least hour. On weekends, I like to go a few hours without looking at it. Just read, go, like get some work done. And I think that those first few hours are really fragile. But today I was thinking about how life was like before they had the option to do that. Before phones were a thing, particularly in relationships. Because right now, if you're in a relationship, you can just message the person whenever you want to talk to them, and you'll know what's going on in their lives. So you kind of have a pretty good idea of how you stand with one another. But before all that, imagine the feeling of not knowing anything. You would have no idea if you were even going to see them ever again. You'd have to either plan it out. You would have to be like, hey, let's meet at the courthouse at 4 p.m. for a date. Or she would have to come to your house, knock on your door, and tell you what's going on. Or if she was mad at you, she would have to tell you, or you'd have to talk about it. There's no texting about arguments and stuff like that. Now, I think this would really make you value your time with other people if you knew you wouldn't be able to communicate without it. Sorry, there's a train in front of me, which just kind of distracted me a little bit. The train is completely stationary and I cannot cross for who knows how long, so this is perfect. Imagine you couldn't communicate with that other person and that unknown. I feel like it would make relationships stronger. Because in every relationship, there's always an obstacle. There's always distance. There's always... like Romeo and Juliet, they were from different kingdoms. They couldn't be together. Whatever it is, the barriers and the obstacles typically make the love a little stronger from what I've seen. That's kind of my take on it. So I feel like that barrier would just add an extra layer to relationships that we don't have anymore, because we can constantly communicate with the other person. So I feel like, and this is completely, I'm just pondering, okay? I'm not a relationship specialist, but I feel like if you want to have a good relationship, you need to create the space or create the obstacles to miss them. Because if you guys just have constant access to each other, that's when things get really, really boring, I feel like. If there's two people who are both degenerates who smoke weed all day and just have constant 24-hour access to each other, I feel like after 2 days of that, you're going to be bored of each other, but then it's going to be like, what else are we going to do? Let's hang out again. And then they hang out again, and they're with each other for another full day, and there's no space. You need space is what I'm trying to say in short. So try to just go some time without talking to that person and see how it feels, because it's an interesting feeling when you don't know what's going on. Now, that's all I got for this one, but I hope it kind of made you think a little bit. And not just relationships, but work in general. People had to really trust one another when they couldn't just call or text at any time. Your boss couldn't call or text you. It's a really interesting phenomenon to think about. So that's all I got for this one, man. I hope this was kind of interesting. Bye-bye.